Okay, so that so our my first this project is created. So I will just go ahead and will import this in the form. Right here it is there. Yeah. So I am going to open this and I will delete the existing project of Angular. I think you people can able to see my screen, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So here, one more. So now we can go ahead and then if I start this npm start. So we start this. Okay. Pull that here. Yeah. We can go on localhost 4200. It's not yet started. Yeah. Firstly, we have to go and change give our forms module. Okay. App dot modular.ts, right? Here we have to import the forms module. Import forms module, right? And I am going to give here reactive forms module from at angular slash forms. Okay. At angular forms. One second. From Angular forms, we have to import that, and the same thing should be available here also in the imports. Okay, the imports we have to declare forms module, comma, reactive forms module. These two should be imported in the imports. Okay, so once I save this, and I have to go and delete the existing workflows what we are having here. So just jump into this HTML, delete here, right? So now, yeah. Now after this, I want to I will create a component. I will create a custom component, and I will pass the parameters to it. Okay. First step, I will go and create the component. Okay. So that I can pass any parameters for that component dynamically. Okay. Yeah. So for that, I will first. Okay. What is the command? ng generate component, and it's like custom input. Okay, it's my component name, custom input. Okay, so once I give this command, so that custom input component is created here, right? So here I am going to give some values for this input. Okay, and I am going to write some data here. See, first of all, I'm going to take one label, and I'm going to do some interpolation for one value, and after that I'm going to take one input, and I'm giving some type here equal to some type, right? And one more thing, I'm giving here some placeholder. So all these are single way bindings, right? Okay, so I'm giving here placeholder. Okay, and I'm going to give here value. This is some value I'm giving here, and I'm going to give here disabled property, and I'm giving for this disabled. Okay, and I'm going to give here input. Okay, so in this input I'm going to give on change. Okay, $event dot target dot value. What is the event dot target dot value will do? This $event target dot value will read your input value, whatever you are giving in the front end. Okay, so it will pass the value whatever you gave in the input to your HTML. Okay, and the same whatever when you are reading this on change method in your TS file, the variable which is coming in this place will be replaced. Okay, blur. Yeah, I'm going to one more property, blur property, and it's like untouched. Okay, untouched. Okay. So this is the one. So for this, I'm going to create now the TS actually. So for this. Here it is like this. Custom input, and here I want to import a few parameters. They are import and control access. First, here only I want to import something. Apart of this on input, I want to give import input value, and I want to give here self, and I want to give here optional. So these are the three I am going to use in my from Angular core, and one from the forms I am going to use control value accessor. It is like this: control value accessor. Okay, accessor. Control value is capital V actually. And one more thing is like ng control. Okay. So from I'm going to read this from at Angular forms. Angular / forms. So, so all this selector is done, template URL and system URL. System URLs, all these three are successfully aligned. And coming for this export class custom input component, here I am going to give on init and implements custom control value. It might be I have not defined, that's why it was shown. So I am going to give here at input. I am going to input, and I am going to give here disabled, and I'm going to give here boolean, right? Yeah. And I'm going to give here at input. Again, I'm going to take one input from my front end. So that input is some label. Okay, label, and it is a string. Okay, it is a string. Uh, so since they are functions, we have to mention them with parentheses. Okay, and again at input. And it is like a placeholder. That's the one what declared in the HTML placeholder string that I'm going to give here. Okay. Empty string. Okay, and one more input we have declared, that is like type actually. So that is type. For this type, I'm going to give here text, and text or email or password. Okay. So it can be any, it can be like it can be in text or email or password. In general, what you will give in the HTML, like either you will give the type as text or email or password. Then yesterday, while we are seeing the template driven form, we have got where we have given like an email as type equal to email, and text as type equal to text likewise, right? So in the same manner, here we are going to we are going to change the input, whether it can be text or email or password, whatever it can be, and we can text finally.
What is at input?
So at input is a decorator which will get the details from the front end. So you have declared here disabled, right? So this disabled, it will be binded. Okay. So this disabled will be binded to the front end. In your front end, this disabled is a variable, but so here it is just in single way property, but still the value whatever you are declaring here, that will be binded here with at input. Okay, so they are mutually binded to each other with this data type. Okay, so yeah, one second, I am getting on. Yeah. And I'm going to give here value. In this value, I'm giving like any. Okay. So at input is one of the major most of the times in almost in the projects, people will use at input for binding and single binded properties and all. So yeah, and here it is. So in the so yeah, it's like so in the constructor, I will make like this as like selfly injected. There is no other dependency, either it not from parent or accessories. It will retrieve the dependency only from the local injector. Okay, so for that purpose, I'm giving here at self and at optional, and at optional it is something like private. I'm going to do here one variable like ng control, and this is the variable what we have, what we are getting from the form actually, right? Ng control. Okay, so yeah, you can find this one here, ng control. Yeah, I think I have to do some. So all this will be under one parenthesis. Yeah. Okay. And here I am going to give if this dot ng control. Okay, this, and this dot ng control dot value accessor equal to this. So I am self binding the current value accessor actually within this ng control. So one second. Okay. Yep. So I am going to write one value function. Write value. my motto is to design a form to which is having some input fields, and once we are giving some data inside that input fields, it should display below as in JSON format. Okay, that's my I mean motto. So what I am going to do here is, first of all, I am going to write the functions to which will get the values. Okay, so I have taken here first one write value function, and I am giving here value and colon, so colon, right, uh, dot value. So what is this value? This value will be binded with the backend, whatever what HTML, whatever the value here we are having, right? So this value will be binded over there, right? So, and I'm giving here value, and one more thing is like set disable state. Okay, state is disabled, colon boolean. Okay, so I'm going to give here void, and this dot disable is equal to is disabled. Disabled. Yeah. So it will, when we write the form disabled state, so it will go so at very first initial point of time, if we are calling this function, that particular text box or a button, wherever we are calling this function, it will be in the disabled state. Okay, and one more thing is like updating the form. To updating the form, when the DOM element changes, we are going to register our changes actually. So for that, I am going to create one new function. So what it will tell is like some register on change. Okay, so here I am going to give fn colon any. Okay, and colon void. So this dot on change, okay, equal to function. So this function will store the provided function as an internal method. Okay, so whatever the changed function, it will be stored internally, and it can be like an array, or it can be like an uh, object, or whatever it is. It will be stored here with this function. And one more thing is like register untouched. So what this will do is, if you touch that particular I mean input box, it will be automatically gets the current, it will call this internal method, and it will make it blur. Okay, so for that we will see like what is the function for that. So for now, void this dot I want to call these two functions. So yeah, private, and here on change, private untouched. So okay, okay. So we are See, now I will start this one more time. I will check like whether any errors are there. Custom input HTML. Should change now. So this on touched whatever we wrote. So this is the function which is I mean it means if it is blurred, if that input is used here or if that input is clicked on this, then this will go for this input will go for the blur state. Okay. So for that I have given the binding here. Which if it is on touch, I have to get the current function available. Yeah. I will give some input values like one more is like here it is. I'm going to give some CSS styles for this component and the current component. So, so at first label, I'm going to give here display color block. Okay, I'm going to run this and font weight one 1 pixel. You can use margin on top. It's one rem and input. What is something like font size 1 1 pixel. You can give padding. And we are going to use one more thing is input disabled. Put column disabled. Okay. So for that I'm going to give here background color. Color some and border. I'm going to give some border here. Border is like 1 pixel and it's solid and it is something like can give some color here. Okay, and color you can give as this is font color. Color means in general it is the font color. Okay, background color is different, font color is different. So Yeah. So now I should consume this whatever the input values whatever I am having here. So all these input values, this at input value, I will consume in the app component.html. Okay. So in this, I am going for form, and I am going for form group. Okay. So I am giving here custom input form. Okay. Input form. So with this custom input form, I am going to get one custom hyphen input. Okay. So here I can able to pass the parameters. Okay. So what is one of the parameter? Label is my one of the parameter. So I'm going to give one text actually. So it's like component. So yeah, not connected to form, something like that. Yeah, and yeah. So once, okay. So this is one element I give, and I am going to give here some code like JSON create tag code. I am going to convert here like custom input form dot value, right? Whatever the value this form is reading, I want to get that value to in a JSON format. Okay. So to convert the value to the JSON format, we have a filter in Angular, that is JSON filter. You just give one pipe and then give JSON. Okay. So once you are giving that, the TS you have to do some changes actually. The TS you have to give the values for that, for your input and all. So component.ts. So in this component.ts, first coming for the imports, we have to import here Angular forms actually. Two things we want to import. One is like form builder, other one is like form group. Okay. So here form builder, so which will build our form. Under this we are going to have form group. Okay. Form group from at Angular forms, at Angular slash forms, right? Okay. So likewise you will be having one, but I will give here some additional details like on init and on init. Okay. On init and yeah. So here it should implements on init. Okay. And here I am going to give custom input form. Okay. It is something like form group. Okay. So my group level element is custom input form. Okay. And in this component.ts, I am going to start a constructor. Structure is where your form builder is initialized. Okay. You have to initialize your form builder at the constructor level. Okay. So it's like this now: private form builder colon form builder. Okay. So in the ng on init, I am going to, so first of all, if it is implementing this on init, definitely we should go and do this life cycle method on init, right? On init, then we are going to mention the inputs for our custom input form. Okay, this dot custom input form dot equal to this dot form builder dot group. Okay, so here, if I see here, now I want to pass the email and full name, some name, and I want to pass phone number. So all these three I have to pass. Okay, so for this I am going to give here email first, and I am going to give here some full name. Full name. I am going to give this full name as some top. And one more thing is like phone. I'm going to use some phone number. Okay, so I can able to use here three things. Okay, one is like email, and one is text, other one is number. Okay, so I'm going to give here value, some 080 some. Okay, and disabled colon true. Yeah. So, I think this comma is missed there. That's why that error is. So now, okay. So yeah. One an app component and custom input component. These two should be declared within 1 second. App component and custom input component both are declared and imported. Imports also browser module and app routing, uh, browser module, and forms module, and reactive forms module, and structured and then this permission. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now I will pass few parameters for this, for this input, custom input, so it will be more clear now. So custom input Custom input and label is equal to some email address, email address, and I'm going to give you some placeholder. So this is also one of the input what we are going to pass actually. So example at gmail.com and form control name. So this is the one which is controlling the value. Form control name and name is form control name is an email. So likewise, however, we got this evening, we have to do for all the remaining full name and whatever we are passing. We want to do for all the three. So what is the other one? It's name actually, full name actually. It's like full name and here place and form control is here like full name. And one more thing here like phone number. It's like phone number and here it's now that we don't give any, just I will give some number here. That's okay. I think if you're not giving us okay. This will be equal to phone. So yeah. This is not necessary. Uh, okay. One more thing here. It's like this is. Here, one second. I will recheck one more time. Value label as value, type and then placeholder. Value and disable, and at input is like on change, even dot target dot value, blur on touch. Okay, so same values here also will reflect. It's like at component at first at component input and self and optional. And also here we are having here self ng control and okay. Let me give here some key. I think for touched, it's not nothing is here. So now if I see the output, I can go ahead and Now I can see this output here. This localhost 4200. You can get some entities. app.component.html. I want to check 1 second. With some spelling mistakes also. So full name, it's something like your form control name should be having a full name, and you will see here form control name. One is app.component.ts. In that full name, I have given some term, and then here in this I have given binding. This binding here full name, maybe label. So control name is full name only, right? See, check one more time. I will check here. Second. Second. Some binding problem. Okay, I have to pull this one to my index dot here. app.component.html. I want to pull this one. Here this my app will be there in the two places, but it is there in one place. For example, it should be there in index.html also. So that's why it was failing. Index.html. The index.html, we have to mention my app actually. Here we can go ahead and do this. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see this one. There is some here. So the email, this problem is this. Accessories with email. So first one is like here it is available in app.component.ts, and then email should be available in custom label input, and here also it's like a form email, and yeah, form control name as email, and here also it's like text email. Okay, text email. So let's see here it's like at input I have here type colon text and email and password equal to text. Yeah, yeah. Still this custom input should be. Okay, we'll see this. There is some small error. Tomorrow we'll see this one. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Neha. Tomorrow we'll see. Narasimha Reddy. Tomorrow we'll see this one.